John Thornton here, allproblogger.com, with my review of the Bengals game versus the Jacksonville Jaguars. First off, congratulations to the Bengals for winning a game on the road. That is very difficult to do in the NFL. I don't care who you're playing against, it's just difficult to go into somebody else's house and get a win because the Jags were playing, pretty much for their season. They didn't want to start 1-4. They felt like the Bengals were a team that they could beat. Similar style teams, similar coaches. I had a feeling going in that this game would be close. I even said on my talk show this week that if I had to take the over to under, I would take the over because usually when you have similar teams, teams tend to put up some points, and this was a very even game throughout until the last few minutes. So just looking over what I saw, nothing special in this game. I think you're starting to see consistent play from different units. Defensively, they gave up a touchdown. The Bengals did on the first drive. Jacksonville came out, hit them with some quick plays, some runs, some passes. Gabbard made some nice throws on the first drive, and I think that sort of caught the Bengals' attention on how Jacksonville was going to come out and attack them. But up front, I don't think they started off the game as sharp as they wanted to. Michael Johnson struggled early on. He got hit with some quick plays. He got cut. He got put on the ground a couple of times, got his gap taken away. Jacksonville was running to their left, the Bengals right, and that was at Michael Johnson. They got Ray Malu on the ground on some quick plays. So the thing that's impressive about the Bengals is that they've had these kind of series where they've given up a touchdown. In the next series, they come out and they play a lot better. So to their credit, they are making adjustments in game a lot better than they have in the past. And so that's why I really like this unit defensively, because even though they aren't great, even though they don't have stars, they have a tendency to come back out and play better and forget the last series. So I thought that was impressive. The one thing that the Bengals are going to have to do is to start to get the turnovers. I know they got the one at the end of the game with Blaine Gabbert misread the snap, and Atkins picked it up and ran it in. But Chris Crocker could have came up with an interception early on in the game that probably could have helped turn the game a little earlier. In a close game like this, you need those plays. So defensively, they have to find a way to start to come up with turnovers, because that's going to help not have these close games. The linebackers, to me, played okay. I don't think anybody had a great game. Nobody stood out and said, hey, that guy was just playing great. I thought they did okay. The secondary did well in coverage. They blew a coverage on that long 74-yard pass to Jason Hill. Reggie Nelson bit play action, or he built a route and he looked like he slipped or whatever. That can't happen, because that pretty much would have lost the game had some other things not happened. So defensively, I thought it was a good, solid effort. Wasn't great, but it was a good effort. It held a team to under 300 yards in this day. I mean, in the NFL, that's going to win you a lot of games. So that was a good, solid effort from the defense. And I'm really impressed with the guys up front. No stars, no dominant performances, but the way that they can roll in players and make plays. I mean, Frosty Rucker has a sack. Jonathan Fanene, he got a sack, and Pat Sims had a sack. That's three backups that came in with the sack. So that's really impressive, the way that you can roll guys in and not drop off any, because I think all three of those guys can start and you would still get the same kind of performance. So very impressive, this Bengals defensive line. I'm just impressed with the guys that they can bring in and throw at another team. When the other team's getting tired, the Bengals are staying fresh. And that's helping the defense stay consistent all game. And it's not really a drop-off. And that's why you can have drives where it might not look good. The next one you come back and you play better, because they're substituting guys and they're getting, guys staying fresh. So very impressed with them. Offensively, I think the Bengals played a solid game. It wasn't their sharpest game up front. Dalton, it wasn't his sharpest game. But these guys found a way to stay in there, and they fought and they came out and they played well. I mean, even the first drive, the Bengals scored after Jacksonville came out with their first drive and scored. So that's impressive. They showed the ability to come back and sort of not let the game get out of hand on the road. I mean, the Bengals could have came out and went 3 and out or 4 or 5 and out, gave Jacksonville the ball back, that after their first drive and just changed the momentum. But they came out and scored. Nice pass from Dalton to Green, touchdown. Well, the one thing I would like to see them do better is control the clock with the run game. I know that's one thing they want to do, but they just need more chunk plays in the run game. I think that will help them out because they're going to have to pass it a lot better to win games down the stretch against these really good defenses. So if they can find a way to take some pressure off that pass game with bigger runs, I think that's the next step for this unit is to find a way to have to get bigger runs without running it all day. I don't think you should have to run it 30 times to find that big run. They have to find big runs early on in games. But the receiving core, I look at that position. I think they started the game a lot better than they did last week against the Bills. It looked like the receiver core, they sort of were sleepwalking in the first quarter. False starts, drop ball by Caldwell. Simpson didn't make any impression last week. This week, he seemed to be in the game a little bit more. A.J. Green is always great when he catches the ball, but I just felt like the receiving core was in tune with the quarterback. The guys up front didn't play great, but they played a solid game. Whitworth got beat around the edge for a sack. Not huge pressure inside, but, one time, the guys from Jacksonville ran a stunt up front and they came through and ran over Nate Livings and gave up a sack that way. So clean some things up with the offensive line. They'll be fine. But overall, it was a good win. It would have been a bad loss if the Bengals would have lost. So winning this game, I think, will help them out later in the season. They're going to look back at this one and say, man, I'm glad we got this win. I don't think Jacksonville will be a good team this year, so it's always good to beat a team that you should beat. So special teams wise, I'm still saying that they have to put Andrew Hawkins in at punt returner, see what he can do. Even in that kick return, I would put Andrew Hawkins back there. I'm just not impressed with Tate. I'm not impressed with his decision making. Even though he had a good return yesterday, I think he's thinking too much. He's coming to a new team. He wants to prove himself, and his judgment is just off. He's catching balls at the 5-yard line of the punt. That's something you shouldn't do. That's something that a veteran punt returner should not do. And I wasn't like I said last week, I wasn't a huge fan of Cosby last year or the year before, but he was a solid guy. He always made the right decisions. He was smart, and you just don't want your kick returner or your punt returner putting your offense with the rookie quarterback in a bad hole. So to me, give another guy a chance, a sort of a spark plug for that unit, because that's one of the things that's, I think, holding this team back is the play of Tate and him just putting them in bad situations. On the other hand, Jacksonville's punter helped the Bengals out a lot. He had a poor day, and he probably will get released this week. That's the kind of day he had. I mean, shanking kicks here and there. It wasn't good. So, special teams, I thought it was an even battle between the Bengals and Jacksonville. But offensively, defensively, they played well enough to win. And I think it was a great foundation builder. Guys knowing that they can go on the road and win. Andy Dalton having a comeback win. And it just will do wonders for this team. I mean, having a game like that in Jacksonville against a tough physical team may have not been that good, but just a tough physical team and you come out to win.